Hey everybody, I'm Matt McQueen, and this is my good friend Curtis Leeser, and today we're going to talk to you about Japanese-made Fender guitars. I happen to love these guitars. They're a great value. However, there are many myths about the quality and the origin and the term made in Japan versus the term crafted in Japan. And so we're here to light the dark of the internet for you. So we're going to dive in by talking about the history of these guitars, when they first went into production, and the difference between the terms made in Japan and crafted in Japan, because that's really what the whole argument stems from when you look at the way these guitars are labeled. And sort of the inspiration for this video comes from Curtis looking at this guitar, which you just got a few days ago, and buying it, and it says crafted in Japan on the back of the neck. And I sent it to one of my other guitar loving friends, and he said, oh, but that seems like that price is a little bit high for a crafted in Japan. Aren't the made in Japan models worth a significant higher amount? That seems like that guy's asking made in Japan money for a crafted in Japan guitar. And that's just simply not true. So there's going to be a link in the description for a fantastic article that was posted on the Warehouse Guitar Speakers website, which is where the research for this video comes from. So you can check that link if you want to read more in detail. I'm going to hit the highlights and basically try to run over the history of Japanese Fenders for us in a couple of minutes. So in 1981, that is the first production of made in Japan Fenders. They're made in Fujigen, and at the time, they're made in the Fujigen factory, and at the time, they're regarded as being higher quality than the American-made equivalents that were coming out at the time. So that's really interesting. So 1981, 82, then in 83, that's when Fender introduces the Squier logo, and they're making Japanese-made guitars that have Squier and Japanese-made guitars that have a Fender logo in 82. And really, those are coming from the same factory. They're the same woods. The only variant is really the model at that time. So if you can find a Squier guitar that says made in Japan, especially if it's a very early serial number, for all intents and purposes, it's a fantastic guitar. I know a couple people that own them and have gotten to play them. They're really fine instruments. Then in 85, production starts to lessen in Japan, and I think that that's particularly significant because Fender is getting ready to ramp up here around this time and open up a new factory in the US, which happens in very early 1987. They open up a new factory in the US. They also that year, and a little bit later, towards probably the middle of 1987, they open up the factory in Mexico, and at this point, all of the non-US made Fender guitars that are being sold in the West are coming from either the American factory or they're coming from the Mexican factory if they say Fender, and if they're Squier, they're coming from the Korean factory at that point in 87. So then we get into the 90s, and 92 is the first year that we see the crafted in Japan logo. And this is where the confusion starts. This is where people start to bicker about the quality. And you'll see all kinds of conversations about what happened with crafted. To put it bluntly, it's just simply not true. It's just people speaking from their personal experience. Most likely, Fender is using the term crafted in Japan because they think that it is a better marketing word. All right, and so that's how the term crafted in Japan was used. Some people also think that it happens to be that Fender had two different factories in Japan that are basically just across town from one another at this point, and that the original Fujigen factory was the only one that had the license to say made in Japan, and that the other factory was able to say crafted in Japan, but over the years, that gets muddled because in the 90s, the factories start interchanging them. So there really is no no difference here. It's very much that it's interchangeable. Sometimes they did it for marketing. And speaking from personal experience here, I don't think that there really is a big difference. I've had crafted in Japan guitars. I've got a crafted in Japan bass. This one is a crafted in Japan. And I've also owned 80s made in Japan guitars. They're all great. I think they're all great. And one of the funny things about it too is that they are skyrocketing in price. We talked about, when we were doing kind of the pre-production for this video, we talked about the J Mascis, the purple metal flake, which was made from 2007 to 2011, I believe. Those have skyrocketed in price. I think those guitars were less than $1,000 new. And you used to be able to buy them for less than $1,000, much less than $1,000, like around $700 used. They've gone so insane right now that they are. I've seen people sell them on a Reverb for over $2,000. The highest I've seen one listed for was somebody posted one for $10,000, and I sent him, and he had $150 shipping.
You had me message him too, yeah.
Yeah, it's $10,000. He has $150 shipping on it, and I said, man, can you knock the shipping off of this? My wife told me my budget had to be no more than $10,000. And he actually responded and said, yeah, man, and sent me a custom offer saying, here it is, $10,000 free shipping, which was pretty funny. So to just wrap this up, so that's what happens. The crafted in, made in Japan, that is used interchangeably.
Starting at 92.
Starting at 92 and even up to today, though I think mostly they're leaning on crafted in Japan. All the ones that I found that are later 2000s, I haven't really been able to find any that say made in Japan, but I have, to just confirm what I'm saying, found many examples of guitars like the J Mascis that say crafted in, that are commanding prices that are honestly competitive or even higher priced than American-made Fenders. For example, I'm seeing Jazzmasters, American Professional 1s and 2s for less than $1,500 on Reverb, and I'm seeing Japanese Jazzmasters, people asking $1,700, $1,800 sometimes, which is just crazy to me. Yeah, you used to be able to get these guitars for like a great bargain. They're really, I think in a lot of people's minds, the price has gone up because they are on par with the American-made guitars.
Maybe a little more consistent than what the U.S. was putting out between the years.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they're incredibly consistent guitars, and they look gorgeous. I mean, you saw the B-roll at the top of the video, double bound. The Bigsby looks great. The metal flake in the red paint. It's just a fantastic looking instrument. 2007 is when Fender decides to open their own factory, and they partner with two, I think these are people's names, not companies. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kondo Shokai and Yamangaki, and they partner up and open a factory in Japan. And it's their own factory, and they're making guitars mostly for the Japanese market, and then also they're making guitars with the, if you ever see a guitar on Reverb or eBay for sale with the Fender FSR in the title, that stands for Fender Special Run, and so they've done a number of these over the years where they make these special run guitars that are limited runs, and most of those, if not all of them, are made in Japan. From 2007 and to 2015, that's when Fender buys out Kondo Shokai and Yamangaki, and so now they own that factory that they built with them, and they are making their guitars. It's the solely owned Fender factory now, and they're still doing the same guitars, Fender FSRs, and guitars that are also made for the Japanese market, but it's under Fender's sole ownership with no partners now. So Curtis, this is your guitar. You just bought this. Got a pretty good deal on it. What's actually funny about this, let me see this thing real fast. What's actually really funny about this is that I found this guitar.
It was supposed to be yours.
I was trying real hard to make it mine. But the the guy on Facebook Marketplace that I was conversing with about this, I tried to make him a trade, and he just simply wasn't into it. I tried to trade him my G&L and a couple of other things to try to add up and get over the value of this. But you won. I backed out when he wouldn't take my trade, and I was too lazy to sell my stuff on Reverb. What did you traded him?
My 2017 PRS Silver Sky.
He gave you some cash, though.
He did.
It wasn't a straight trade.
Yeah, it was. I definitely did well on the trade.
And he threw in some pickups.
Some TV Jones pickups, yeah.
Yeah, which we're going to put in this guitar later on. So, yeah, it looks great. It's double bound. It's a 62 reissue custom. Basically very similar to your Nash, which is a 63, basically a 63 reissue custom
same
or whatever.
thing. It's a double bound.
It's not a reissue since it's a Nash, but it's a double bound telly. You're a creature of habit.
Yeah, double bound, alder body. The only difference is it's got a little bit of a smaller C shape rosewood neck.
On the Nash is very worn on the neck, right? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have this is the first time I've played a guitar with a gloss neck that I was actually like, oh, I can still move around really quick.
Gotcha. Yeah, the satin does feel a lot smoother sometimes, and you'll wear that down, break that in no time.
And as you know, I'm a sucker for Bigsby's.
Yes, you are a sucker for Bigsby's. And that's got what's that thing on the end called there? It's like a
string lever.
String lever? Is that really
string supporter? I honestly don't know.
It's the Vibramate string. It basically makes it easier to put the strings on a Bigsby.
Yes.
So
I saw this today and was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this on my Nash because, sometimes I just don't have 3 hands to change my strings out.
You should buy a second one, silly. Well, this is nice. Thanks for letting us check it out, Curtis. I think that it's fantastic sounding instrument. I think that it plays really good. It feels really comfortable. The purpose of this was just to sort of set the record straight and to let you all know what we had found out about made in Japan versus crafted in Japan. So again, check out those links below. Super interesting to read that story on the internet. And if you've got a made in Japan or if you've got a crafted in Japan Fender and you love it, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think about these guitars. Until next time, I've been Matt.
I'm Curtis.
We'll see you next time.